public council meeting Monday, November 25th, 2024, here in the town of Tor Bay. First up, new business, Councillor Tapper. As Councillor Manning.
Thank you.
Councillor Pollard.
Pass.
Councillor Appleby.
You at CM.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Yeah,
And FCN.
okay. Deputy Mayor.
Pass.
And I got a thanks. Okay, is there anybody here that want to get on the first Q&A session? No? Okay.
Should let them know to cancel.
Explain it.
All right.
You need to ask a question.
Anything prior to the meeting, you can just let us know, you can stand up there. If not, you get another chance later on, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, the second,
Q&A.
the second Q&A is only for items that were discussed at the council meeting. The first one is for anything that you wish.
That's right.
You okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So, can I get your name? Okay. Questions? Did you hear that, kid?
Yeah.
This,
Millie?
Billy?
Yeah. Jeff Stevens?
Yeah, that's fine. Did you want to speak first or after? You can do both. You can do both if you want. But it's, I'll let you know, it's not right now at the minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Could I get your name, please?
Jerry Duggan
Jerry Duggan?
with a G.
Okay. All right, could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried, thank you. We have public council minutes for November 12th, 2024. Could I get a motion to adopt, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. Conflict of interest, we got our little sheet there. There's a application for 8 Thomas Gardens and 1 for 7 Pump House Road. If there's an issue arises there, please let us know at the time when when it comes up. Proclamations, there are none. Presentations, there are none. Q&A. Listen. Yeah, go ahead.
Mike's on.
Mike's on.
Mike's on.
Oh, it's on, sorry. Yeah, so this is about an issue we've been talking to council and staff about for about 4 or 5 months, since June of this year.
Yeah, you only got like a couple of minutes.
Sounds good?
5, yeah.
So it's regarding like parking of a travel trailer in the front and flanking side yard of a residence at 85 Marine Drive. And the efforts we've gone through to have the trailer relocated for safety reasons and to be in accordance with municipal regulations. Trailer's been parked there since early this year. The zone is residential medium density. It's on Marine Drive, corner lot with Hearn Place. So the concerns with this, well, the length of time it's taken to obtain a resolution. The exception or grace period has been granted to property owner that is non-conforming in several measures to start with. Safety concern with non-compliance at the corner lot site triangle rules, sorry. Also, it's unclear at this point whether the removal order that has been issued is permanent, or whether the trailer is going to be put back in place next year and we'll have to do this all over again. And in the long term, the effect on neighboring properties and character of the neighborhood. So length of time to obtain resolution. Trailers first parked early this year. First raised concern, June 2024. Finally, trailers moved November 2024. Took 14 emails to staff and council, plus phone calls. So then in October, staff required reminding that the trailer was to be removed at the end of summer, like at the end of camping season, as was agreed. Finally, the removal notice was issued, after we emailed all council members and requested to speak at this meeting. If you got the slides, the next page is the summary of all the correspondence and the actions there. Next, the exception or grace period granted to the non-conforming property. This is a small lot, it's undersized for the zone. There's several measures that make it non-conforming, so giving it a grace period. Potential safety concern is, again, making it more non-conforming. And it just doesn't seem to be in agreement with general intent of development regulations. Next page is some of the things that are non-conforming with that property, then a property survey for reference. Next page is about the safety concern with the site triangle. We have 61 from development regulations. That states that anything more than 0.6 meters in height cannot be placed within 6 meters of an intersection in that triangle. Trailer is well over 0.6 meters in height, and it was parked in that area as marked up on this survey here. You can see the approximate size of the trailer. I mean, there's no room there to put it further than 6 meters from that site triangle. It's an aerial photo there as well. So yeah, unclear whether this removal order is permanent. There's no mention of the 2025 camping season, if the owner's going to put that there again. And if so, how much effort and how long it's going to take to get it removed and, resolve the safety concerns that was raised this year.
So to summarize, there are safety concerns, they haven't been
Right.
addressed. It seems like grace period was given for
Todd,
the,
so-
safety concerns.
Right, so the trailer's moved now, right?
The trailer has been moved.
There was
Now
ne-
there's new items put in that triangle that are more than the 0.6 meters in height. And
Okay.
the email, I actually have received an email today with a picture of one less vehicle that's actually parked there normally.
Right.
Because pretty much all but 12 square feet of the property is maintained by either accessory buildings or vehicles, including the site triangle.
Mm.
And in the photo is a sedan and another flat trailer that are in excess of that amount. So he just moved it to another area, glorious, less aesthetically offensive. But still, it's not clear. It's still going to be a snow clearing issue. It's still.
His trailer?
His trailer has moved to the side of the house, and now
Right.
he has a flatbed trailer and a sedan parked there because he has no more land. There's
Okay.
you can barely walk between his house and his trailer.
Right.
All the time.
So, I know that I saw an email today
Mm-hmm.
regarding the fact that the trailer was moved and staff followed up. So Julia, can we follow up again tomorrow on the additional stuff that's there, or if that
They're in the
is?
photo, that would have been in the email.
Right, if it's not compliant, I don't know.
So we'll be in touch with you. I, at the first go-off, I didn't see an issue. I mean, people do have a right to use their property and park their cars. And the intent is that really in the winter, nothing can be there, right? Because there's gonna be snow, gonna be stored there just from snow plowing operations. So there's still quite a bit of room in front of the house. Right now there's a car park there, and I did see that, little pulley trailer, but
There's also a pickup truck that goes there.
yeah, so I mean, people do have a right to park their vehicles there, right? I do, and I don't think we ever disagreed on the issue of the camper having been parked there. In the summer, we didn't have an issue. We didn't find there was a sightline issue, but we do concur in the winter with the snow storage and bigger storms and all that. That makes all the sense in the world. So it's tucked away now in the corner, and but I'll be, without going in discussion now, like we can have a separate conversation about that, and
There's small children on bikes that come out of Hearn's place quite frequently. So that's why if there's vehicles parked at that corner within that 6 meters, vehicles that go to turn down Hearn Place are not going to see those kids. And we don't need a bike locality in Torbay for someone to be like, hey, we don't want to inconvenience someone with a parking spot. Like, park
Well,
spots.
okay, now we'll
Yeah.
take that into consideration and have another look.
Yeah,
And
I
then
appreciate that.
we'll be in touch with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's not on.
Yeah, there's probably too many microphones on, Kim.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I thought my mic was.
Mr. Druggan?
Duggan.
Drugger?
Duggan, do you?
Duggan! Sorry.
Yes, I'm here to speak about the proposed motions on the 8 Thomas Gardens application for approval in principle. I'm representing Mr. Jerome Cody with YBC. We're a little bit concerned over the fact that the original agreement for 8 Thomas Gardens, which was a subdivision that was completed in 2004, and with one remaining lot apparently that was not had a house constructed on it. But the agreement that with the developer at the time said that if there was no development within 2 years, that the water allocation for that particular lot would have lapsed and no longer existed. Since 2010, YBC has been trying to get approval. Well, actually, they did have approval in 2010 for a development on North Pond Road. And subsequent to that, and through several councils, the original agreement with the company, rules and policies have changed with successive councils. And it seems that in some cases there's been water allocations given to certain entities contrary to policy, to the council's policies. And in this particular case, there was a freeze on water allocations, and I think the application was reviewed by your planning committee, and they recommended that based on the council's policies and the original agreement with the developer that they recommended it not be approved. But since then, the planning committee apparently has reviewed it again, and now says that basically that the developer invested in the municipal infrastructure, and because of that fact, now the council is prepared to approval in principle for a water allocation there, which is contrary to the policy on the freeze, which was implemented in, I think, October of this year. We find this very disappointing and disconcerting because from our perspective, it's been a litany of water allocations given to entities that they've been taken up because there was only a limited amount according to your water study. It's just very, very disappointing to YBC, and if we were in the process of having it reviewed, and we may very well be forced to have it appealed, and like I say, it's very disappointing to us, and we just wanted to implement a residential subdivision that we feel would be to the benefit of Tor Bay, increase your tax base, and so on and so forth. In any event, it's just that we'd like to know, basically how, on what basis that your policy was changed, or your recommendations changed from your policy of the freeze. Okay.
So when that comes up during the planning report, then the chair planning will talk to that at that point.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
Let me see back in my head now.
business arising report. Lord, it's all changed. Anything on there? Okay,
Just, sorry, just the,
Go ahead.
the regular question on the water, I think we had some discussion on that too, in terms of
Yep.
Great Pond and the, application moving forward. There was, I inquired from staff just before the meeting in terms of, where they stand on that, so that's still in process. The stream of money from the federal government in terms of application process, and, we're in the process of completing that, and once that's done, hopefully we'll get some good news, but
it is.
Still-
I had a conversation with MP Thompson on Friday, and basically they were filling me in about her efforts so far in dealing with the federal departments and the minister with regard to our water issues, and that hopefully we're going to get our application in soon, and then she'll work on our behalf to try and get that thing approved. So it's kind of where we are, Tony. Really no change. Anything else? Anybody? All right, thank you. Correspondence. We have a correspondence here from Environment Climate Change Canada. Share your ideas, concerns, and perspectives. That can go off to planning department. All right. Committees, council. Committee of the whole minutes from November 18, 2024. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
Second.
Moved and seconded. No motions or anything in here?
No, there isn't.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried, thank you. Planning land use development, Councillor Pollard.
No.
Thank you, Your Worship. In a few seconds, the computer is doing the blue line across the screen again.
It's a big report.
Hmm?
It's a big report.
Yeah. It's not fast either. Slow.
Not loaded yet?
No, three quarters.
122 pages.
Hmm?
122 pages, that's why.
First time I had a problem with mine loading too.
Oh, yeah.
You had to cut it back. I do it from memory, but I might miss something. Okay. Hmm? You want to take it then? No. Yeah, I knew the answer to that one. So the first motion up relates to the South Pond Watershed Amendment, MPA number 7, PRA 13, 2023. And if everyone recalls, we had the discussion around the lifting of the watershed area around South Pond, once the contamination issue and everything got discussed there and whatever, and we went through the process of public hearing and that. So we're moving to the next stage now. So the motion to approve the South Pond Watershed Amendments, more specifically Torbay Municipal Plan Amendment number 7, 2023, and Torbay Development Regulation Amendment number 13, 2023, in accordance with the requirements of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, and to forward the Torbay Amendment documents to the Provincial Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, so the Minister may consider the approval of the Associated Regional Plan Amendment number 7, 2023, for subsequent registration of all 3 amended documents by the Department. So moved.
Moved and seconded, comments?
I mean, it's been I guess, on the minds of council for a while now to actually move this out of watershed area because there's no longer watershed possibility for that. So it's going to be moved, and it requires the amendment process. And then Julie, you can speak to it a little more detail if anyone needs any more additional information on it. Thanks. I don't like putting you on the spot, sorry. But.
Sorry, do we need any additional information, or are we good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Mayor,
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to speak to it. I
Oh,
raised my
sorry.
hand.
Go ahead. I thought you were voting.
No, sorry, it's okay. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you. I spoke with the director about this today, and I understood that, and I actually spoke with the chair as well. I understood that the understanding with this motion is that water would have to be piped in here, that there's no way any of this development could actually happen without water being piped in from the St. John's Regional Water Supply or from another source within Torbay, if it were to be developed. I did ask for documentation around that, but the documentation that I received didn't say that explicitly in black and white. So I just wanted to get some clarification around that before this vote happens today, and to see if that can be amended or added in this space so that people can understand what's happening with this conversation. I know right now we're looking at rezoning, but with that rezoning comes the conversation around industrial residential development, and there are some water concerns. So I just wanted to speak to that and ask for some clarification and see if that could be amended in here before we take a vote, please. Thank you.
Or Julia?
Oh, the right button. Okay, I got it now. So to answer to Councillor Appleby's question, this is a amendment process, so this is actually not dealing with a site-specific development application. So, and the other thing is that, with the exception of that one lot that's fronting onto Pump House Road, none of the other land is placed in a zone that's actually developable, like the comprehensive development area industrial land use zone actually specifically says that land shall not be developed until the area is rezoned. So there would be a second step to this process for any development application to even being able to be considered. And as part of that second stage rezoning process, specifications would have to be made as to how the area is going to be serviced and accessed. And at that point, the servicing issue that we're experiencing in the area will need to be addressed. As part of this particular amendment process, we did consult with the Provincial Water Resources Division, and they indicated that the area will only be able to be serviced with pipe water in the future when that second amendment would go through. And also the land use zone table for the comprehensive development area industrial specifies that the direction for that type of land use zone would be for a fully serviced industrial park. So that's long ways away in the future, and this just lays the groundwork for councils of the future to be able to consider the future development of an industrial park or commercial industrial park in the town.
Thank you. All right.
Mayor, can I ask that be added to the package,
This
the
is
comments of the director?
Motion.
Right, because this is a zoning application, so the zoning doesn't specify that stuff, because I understand exactly where you're coming from. But we can get an application for a laydown yard that doesn't require any water. You know?
Right, but the reason I'm bringing this up now, you'll recall we were at a meeting a little while ago when someone came up to us with a document in hand, and they said, look, council took a decision on this and it was pertaining to that area at the time, but it was a decision that was made at committee level. And I'm sure you recall that conversation. So they had the minutes from the committee meeting. It wasn't a decision that was made by council motioned. Do you recall what I'm talking
Yeah, I know
about?
what
It
you're
happened in a
talking-
public meeting.
This is the motion that we're just adopting right now, a motion of council.
Right. But for me to vote for this motion to be in favor of it, which I would be, if there was somewhere recorded in the minutes that the director had advised us that any further development in this space, no matter what the zoning, would require water that would be piped in there from somewhere else to not impact the water situation in that area of town. That's all I'm asking for that to be added as part of the record of discussion for this motion. To have that explicitly written out in the minutes, please. And I believe I can request that.
Yeah, but I don't know that, yeah, we can put it in the minutes that, that type of, any type of development would require, service, but we can't put it in the motion.
That would be an amendment to the motion. That would be a different motion altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be
That-
different, this
that
is
is fair.
this is zoning amendment motion, it
Right.
wouldn't- doesn't talk about development.
Right, zoning has no impact on the actual incidence of a development, shall we say.
Mhm.
So it would be at the time when we got an application to develop, that those items would come into play.
Right, and I totally understand that, but my question is, for a future council, sorry if I'm speaking
Julia
out of turn.
just got something that she wanted to add, Trina, just.
Yeah, I just want to clarify too, this is a mapping amendment, so we're basically amending from an existing zone to another existing and established zone. So the wording in the land use zone tables is set right now. Like, the only thing we're changing is the mapping associated with the municipal plan and the zoning map. So the conditions that apply are the conditions that currently exist as written in the land use zone tables. So one can record it in the minutes, but the motion, we cannot change the wording in the land use zone tables right now.
So you could just say in minutes discussion, development may require, like,
I have that.
okay.
I have that
All
recorded.
right, it's in the
Are we saying may or shall?
It may, because we don't know what application would come. That decision would have to be made at the time an application to develop would come in,
Okay,
right?
all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we already voted. Did you vote in favor or against?
No,
Are you voting?
no, I'm gonna
against?
vote against it. Without the confirmation,
Sure.
I'll vote against it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, motion carried. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. The next item deals with one of our favourite subjects, and one that Mr. Duggan just spoke to as well, and thank him for his input on that. And certainly his concerns were certainly heard, and whether they believe us or not, they're certainly always high on list of priorities is the conversation around YBC and the requirements and the history associated with it. When the freeze was put in place, and unfortunately a town this size, and sorry, Your Worship, I'm going to speak for a few seconds first. For a town this size to be grappling over one or two potential allocations is a horrendous place to put any of us in, and it's something that we do grapple with all the time. So at the time we were down to a minuscule number of water allocations based on an engineering study that said that North Palm was capable of so many litres per minute or whatever daily flow was. We decided to put the freeze in place. Subsequent to that point in time, we were contacted by a number of individuals actually, and with circumstances, I guess, that we really hadn't considered in full when we were putting information or putting the freeze in place, by tying our hands not to necessarily consider a one-off or a special circumstance, I suppose, or a different circumstance, or a set of circumstances that weren't considered at the time. And we are dealing with such a small number of potentials that it really was difficult. So anyway, when this came forward, the conversation centered around the fact that this developer, contractor, or whatever had took the initiative and spent the money and put the infrastructure in the ground, and with the expectation that there was a service subdivision associated with this, and nothing ever to the contrary, I suppose, came about that. So that person puts up their own money and the town acquires the infrastructure for essentially $1 at the end of the day, or a transfer at the end of the day. And the developer moves on with the expectation that all is as was in the subdivision agreement. So when this came forward, we really found it hard to have it be in a situation where there was a subdivision or a number of subdivisions with maybe one spot or two spots left open, available for use. And when this came forward, we thought that the fact that a person put up money themselves, we had adopted it for nothing. At the point in time, it was a signed agreement with the town saying that, or an agreement with the town, acknowledgement that, yes, you could put a service subdivision here in place. And we looked at the circumstance and looked at the very, very small number of allocations that we had, and said that maybe in this case we can, let that one circumstance go through in terms of I think there was probably 7 allocations left or 6 allocations left when we put the freeze on. And that's essentially where we are today with that number. So the choice was either to not bring it forward and to turn everything off, and still understanding that there are other subdivisions that are put on hold somewhere along the way because of the terrible, terrible situation that we're in terms of not being able to have any additional water service. So this is not a service that we're saying is outside what our allocation allowance was since we put the freeze on, but there were still 7, I think, was the number when we actually put the freeze on, because we're dealing with all these one-offs on an ongoing basis. So that committee, anyway, we said we'd bring it forward, with the difference being here that we didn't look at anything that the town infrastructure put in, but that was put in by individual developers themselves. So we thought that it might make sense to bring it forward and the council make a decision on whether or not they want to go ahead and assign the existing infill lots on residential that a developer actually did themselves, as opposed to the town infrastructure at the point in time. So the motion to clarify the existing water allocation freeze in effect, that there are a small number of existing infill lots on existing service streets in town where a private developer versus the town constructed water mains at their own expense, and where those public works were subsequently conveyed to the town as part of a residential development, and whereas the town will consider applications for single dwellings on these types of lots on a case-by-case basis up to the maximum recommended number of allocations as per existing water allocation policy. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded.
So I want to say that it's not really a difference in the policy, it's just going to the full extent of what the allocations were there available. The policy is still in effect beyond that.
Other comment?
Not a question. The policy in the package states that council can lift a freeze when it's a decision of council. So if we pass this motion now, we are not impacting the policy. My understanding is we're impacting the lift on the freeze that council has implemented. Is that correct? The last
No,
discussion I
in order to
participated in
lift-
this, we talked about having a freeze in place.
Sorry. In order to lift the freeze, we had to revoke the motion.
So my understanding is this motion is to lift the freeze that's currently in place. Is that correct?
Motion is to adjust the freeze numbers to allow us to go to the maximum number that was allowed in the allocation on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
So my understanding then is that the motion is to lift the freeze the council has in place as per the policy. And the concern I have here on a case-by-case basis is not really giving a level equal playing field, because we don't understand what a case-by-case basis is or how that rolls out and is equally and fairly distributed to people in the community. We've had many people reach out with questions and concerns about, can I get access to water? Being told, no, we don't have any. But now all of a sudden we're saying we do have it, up to what number is available, if we can make that available to the public. And then what is that criteria? It's case by case. It's really ambiguous to make sure that we're delivering fair and equal services to residents of the community. So I'm sorry, I can't vote in favor of this motion. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment?
I just want to say that's, I mean, you know, this is not an easy motion to bring forward, nor is it a nice place to be sitting to try to talk to something when we know there's other people who feel aggrieved and there's people out there who really want to move ahead with certain things as well. This is a way to, I guess, to create at least some small number of wrongs that exist within the whole policy and the whole surrounds around this water allocation scenario.
Okay. Councillor Pepper?
Just to add to Councillor Pollard's words, we're talking, and this emphasizes the dire straits we are in, and everybody should know this by now. We're trying to get a second water system in place, and we're working hard, and it's going to cost us multi-millions of dollars to do that. This is not a 150 unit subdivision. This is one lot that a developer paid for infrastructure, the whole works, years ago, and he kept one lot for himself, his own family. But over the years, he decided not to develop it any further, so he sold it. Now he has a new owner, and when he put in an application for water allocation. This is when this whole system, or this is an example, kind of surfaced, and we went back and looked at it. Yes, it was approved for water allocation. And so the new owner of the lot now may take legal action, not only against the developer, but of the town as well. So again, we're in that situation where legal comes into this whole conversation. So what are we left to do? I'm going to vote in favor of this motion.
In our comment?
No, I guess for me, it's one of these situations that we make policies, but we don't know the implications that can come from those policies. And here's a prime example of when we allocated water to various residents where the water went by their homes and they had been paying for. This was one that, based on the information I've received, that was overlooked to be added into the allocations. So therefore, I'd be voting in favor of this as a one-off, and that was overlooked when the summary had been done a while back.
I'll just say that I agree with both Councillor Tapper and Deputy Mayor in the sense of, you know, doing motions. There seems to be things that we're not going to proceed to have the motion cover everything. And I agree with the, you know, going through the history and what was explained to me and the history on this one. I have to say that I'm gonna be in agreement also. And that's it.
Your Worship, I got to clarify something here, because everyone's gone to motion number 2,
Yeah.
and we're still on motion number 1.
Okay.
Right? Okay? And it's not motion number 1, so motion number 1 is asking us to take into consideration those circumstances where the individual developer
Right.
put the infrastructure in the ground themselves, right? And the one-off scenarios, right? So we have 7 allocations left or something on those lines, right? To bring us to that magic number that was 60 that we all talked about. You can believe we're still talking about individual ones. I just wanted to clarify that this motion number one is not motion number 2.
Right, but motion number 2 is dependent on 1.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And Councillor Appleby was right when she talked about this one. It's basically amending the
Yes.
freeze motion.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Hey, right here, I'm opposed.
Okay.
Thanks, Mayor.
Carried. Back to you, sir.
Motion number 2, conditionally approve application 2024-116 for the proposed development of a single dwelling at 8 Thomas Gardens in keeping with standard requirements for construction of a single-service dwelling in the town of Torbay. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, comments?
I think we
Can I
had
speak, please?
discussed
Go
it
ahead.
all.
Councillor Epple?
Can I get confirmation of the number of lots that were in the report in 2021 when we did the assessment of how many accessible lots were in North Pond at that time? Do you recall roughly what the amount was? I know exactly what it is, but I wanted to get that information if I could from the director, please.
At the point in time, it was 60, wasn't it?
Yes, if I understand correctly, the engineering study that was done in or submitted for review by council in 2020 identified that the council may add incrementally add up to 60 water allocations as infill lots only.
Thank you, Director. So I spoke again with the chair of the committee and I spoke with the director this afternoon. It is my understanding that when we did that at that time in 2021, we brought a policy in on a one-off basis. There were 60 allocations. There was a procedure whereby information was sent out to all the people that we knew who had hookups, and it was also advertised to say, if you're interested to be accessible for any of these allocations, speak up now and let us know. My understanding is that this lot in particular, there has not been water taxes paid on it during that time, and it wasn't a part of that process and identified as such. The other thing that I'll say here is that there are people who need water. My understanding, I think there's about 20 now, and from what Councillor Pollard just said, there's about 7 that are left. So if that's the case, how are we going to do that on a case-by-case basis, fairly and equally? Some people understand that there isn't water. Some people are going to understand after tonight that there is water. And we as a council, with these policies, have gone from 60 to now possibly 7, with a developer that we just had a representative speak about impacts to what's happening with them. So again, I'm just going to raise concern about the changing of back and forth and case by case on this. I can't vote for something that's not fair and free to everybody with clear parameters of where and how you get free access. So as much as I hate to, I do have to vote against this. I want to see development in my community, but I want to see development that's fair and equitable to all. So I'm sorry I can't vote for this tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I think they,
Hang on,
Sorry.
before it goes back to you, Councillor, any other comment from somebody who's not the committee chair? All right, back to you.
Yeah, sometimes you can say too much, you know. But when you get into the commentary of fair and equitable and everything along those lines, I guess, we try to make this as fair and as equitable as possible to what's available and what's in front of us. And we're still bound by those unfortunate numbers that we deal with on a daily basis. And we struggle every day with this. And there's many circumstances. And you know, Mr. Duggan spoke to one in particular that haunts us every day we go by. And it's always, and like I say, whether they believe it or not, it was always in our minds as to how best we get there and how fast we can get there. So this is not a matter of trying to discriminate against one or the other. It's trying to find best way forward to best utilize what we do and what we can and listen to, I guess, certain individual or concerns of people as they bring them forward and not try to pigeonhole ourselves necessarily until we actually have to come to the absolute deadline of that last 7 numbers we got. And by then, hopefully, Great Pond will be up and running and we'll find some other source of water or some other way around. It listens ugly all around, I must say. But
Okay. Just want to ask clarification, right? So I want to clarify, when we're talking about a case-by-case basis, we're talking about a case where a developer or a private citizen has installed the infrastructure already. It's already there. They're not making an extension or anything like that.
No.
So that's the only case-by-case basis we're talking about? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, carried.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And the last motion on this is motion to accept 2024 permit listings for the weekend ending November 21st as tabled. So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So it's my report, Your Worship.
All right, thank you. Any questions on any of the other report, any other parts of the report? Okay, thank you, sir. Admin and HR, number 2, Deputy Mayor.
The first two items, they're straightforward, they're pretty much what was on the last report. I do have one motion, though, motion that be resolved that the town of Torbay approve the transition to a new employee benefits contract with Cal LeGros effective January 1st, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, Russ, do I gotta step away from this one? I'm in conflict on this. as
Okay.
President Trio.
Right? Okay. All right, motion and seconded. Comments?
Question. Can I ask one?
Yep.
Thanks, Mayor. My question is, has there been an expression of interest put out fair and equitably to anybody who wants to apply for this? How did this come to be? I have been advocating since elected to do a review of Trio as the provider, and I have had concerns and shared them numerous occasions here about making sure that we get the best bang for our buck for our employees and for the taxpayers that are contributing. So just wondering what analysis has gone in here. Have we met through the procurement thresholds? And how do we ensure that we've got free and open competition on this? Because I don't see any of those details in the package. Thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Appleby, just for the record, over the last several months, we have gone out to get quotes, and we've had discussions at the committee of the whole meeting, and there's minutes that were being provided. The HR director, they have gone back to the staff, and this is driven by the staff with ample opportunity for questions, and everything is as it should be. So if you want to go back and check any of your minutes and reports, all of the information is available.
Respectfully, Mayor, there's a motion on the floor. And with this information, I would ask that it be available. If the director has the information and would like to share that there were 3 who participated and what the analysis was that got us this motion for public record, that would be greatly appreciated, because that's what I'm asking for to make this decision. Thank you.
We'll address this, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Councillor Appleby, we'll address this, the inquiry you've had at the next committee meeting. We'll gather that information to make sure it's made available to you.
Okay. Oh, we do have it all, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other question? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to be opposed, and noting the fact that the information is not here for the motion to explain where and how we met the procurement procedures. But by all means, looking forward to seeing them. Not saying that I don't believe we did that. I'm sure we did if the deputy mayor has advised and the director has, but I would like to see it before I take the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, that it?
That's it.
Thank you very much. All right, corporate services, Councillor Pollard. Councillor Goss, not here, you're on double duty.
And I crossed the floor. The report is there. We met earlier, the week before last, actually, and see if this gets called up. Payroll process for 2-week period ending November 20th was for 53 employees, was $119,898.80. The accounts payable report is there. Invoices for approval over $5,000. Motion, I'll just move myself out of the watch. Something's, big computer.
Yeah, I think I lost sound. I can't hear.
No,
you.
I'm
He's
low
just,
speaking, Trent.
Oh,
yeah.
So the motion
Okay,
for
sorry.
invoices for council approval over $5,000 is as follows. Snow and mowing for brush cutting services, amount of $10,350. TKS Solutions for the upper three-corner pond soccer field maintenance, $15,870. Triware monthly IT support block of time, $5,750. Pentagon Grand Banks Warehousing Limited for the payment on the salt shed, or a payment on the salt shed, $197,629.80. Newfoundland Power Street Lighting and Digital Sign, $19,832.74. And Receiver General for payroll remittance, November 1st to the 15th, $34,083.82. And Weir's Construction for progress payment on Torbay Roads for multi-year capital work 17-22 in the amount of $16,670.40. All for a total of $300,186.76. So moved.
Moved, seconder,
Second?
and seconded. Comments? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
There is a second motion there, resolved that the town of Provey adopt the auditor's report and consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2023, as presented. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Questions?
I got a comment.
Comment?
It's 2023, we had some internal discussions on it, and the in-depth review, this is not necessary really at this point in time, because it's well over a year old, and we're just gonna wait for 2024. I want to bring everybody's attention to just one thing that I guess I've been speaking about in the past and recently during budget discussion. That takes you to page 2020, or page 21 of the report, and it's a schedule of tangible capital assets. And I was talking about the aging of our infrastructure, and I just wanted to highlight, if you look at it, and remember, depreciation doesn't necessarily represent the condition of the assets at this point in time. It's just an indicator from an accounting perspective, but in lack of anything else at this point in time, it certainly gives some indication of where we are. So if you look at water and sewer, our water and sewer infrastructure is depreciated 60% at this point in time. So which means it's well past it's half life cycle, so we say. So we got to take that in consideration when we're doing things. And transportation side of things is mainly the roads, I guess. That's 66% past where we are. So we're well past, half the life of what our infrastructure is, and we still struggle on a regular basis to try to find the dollars to do what's necessary. The only, I guess, real positive, from the young life assets, is our actual buildings. And I guess that goes to speak to the fact that we recently purchased built the Common and took over History House, although History House is an older building. But I just wanted to highlight that so that when we have future discussions, we realize that we're heading to the end of useful life of a lot of our assets, and that needs to be taken into account when we do our budget process and longer term planning especially. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's all good, is it? Because I got to sign that. But I won't sign it until we pass the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
There's one more motion, Your Worship, and that's on your desks, I think, and that's the appointment of the appeal commissioner. As you know, we have to do this on a regular basis. For resolved that the town of Port Bay, based upon the reasonableness of fees, the availability of the commissioner, and the timeliness of the receipt of written appeals hearing results, reappoint Donald Peckham as our assessment appeals commissioner. An assessment appeals commissioner is required to be appointed for 2025 assessment appeals hearing as per section 32 of the Municipal Assessment Act. So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
So ends our report, Your Worship.
All right. Any questions on any of that? Very good. Thank you. Economic Development, Tourism, History, and Culture. Councillor Tapper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our committee met on Monday, the 18th. Just a couple of updates first. On the economic development side, Lower Street Stage, of course, that's ongoing.
Just push it down.
Go ahead. There's probably one too many on.
Sorry, now can you hear me?
Sorry.
Yeah, just a couple of updates from economic development, the Lower Street stage. We're moving ahead with that, but there is some opposition by a resident, so we're looking to liaison with Newfoundland Power to explore our options. Regional transportation study. The province, after much back and forth and joint lobbying efforts, have increased their contribution to the project, allowing it to proceed, which is great news. And representatives up to Killy Coast communities will meet early in the new year to discuss moving forward. Immigration proposal, an update. The province requested additional information on this proposal and is currently being assessed by the Office of Immigration and Multiculturalism. And next year we're hoping to do a Best of Torbay event, which will, I guess, get everybody together on the same page when it comes to business awards and the sports and other awards as well. So we'll be looking forward to that in the spring. Marketing and communication.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everybody that we can hear you talking. Please don't do that. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, marketing and communications. The Christmas flyer is in circulation and on social media. So the winter guide will be ready for distribution the first week of December. And just mention social media. We're moving away from Twitter, and we'll focus on those social media platforms that create value from a communications perspective. History House, preparation for the Festival of Trees is well underway with 21 entrants so far, which is great. And this is a big, event for us during the Christmas season. The Mannion project is also moving ahead as planned. So if there's any questions or comments?
Questions? Just a comment, 2 comments actually. For the Best of Torbay event, I thought a good one would be the Toast of Torbay, so we consider that.
Send it in.
Please make sure before we combine all those events that we talk to the volunteers who currently operate them to find out how is it going to work, because I know I did have a discussion with the people that does the Hall of Fame, and that event alone takes about an hour, so we don't want to have a 4-hour, I don't know, a 4-hour, 5-hour thing. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. You can handle it. I just wanted to make sure I brought it up.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Did you like my name that I chose? Come on.
Did that answer your question?
Nah, I don't know. All right. Any other questions on anything in that report from anyone? All right, thank you, sir. Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Appleby.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, myself, Councillor Goss, and our Director, Brian Winter, we met on Wednesday morning. There are no motions in the package here. We did walk through all of the items that are here. I don't know if there are any questions. If anyone has any, by all means, more than happy to entertain questions. In a nutshell, we had a chat about the trail development, the safety lights for the fire department and crosswalk, the culvert replacement work that's being done, the town office and the annex renovation. We're seeking an update on that. The director provided an update about sidewalk construction and what's happening around piece and the warranties. Just flipping through here, there's a list of what we have been doing and what there is left to do. The wetland sewer study, we're waiting for more information, which the director will follow up with. There's an update here about the roadwork project, the common generator project, stormwater mitigation. Just want to do a shout out to the department. I know that we've had lots of issues around stormwater management, and we've had record rainfalls this month, or pretty close to record rainfall. So just want to put a shout out to the staff for all the work they do, and to the director as well for his work on getting this stuff sorted, because making sure we have nice dry homes and safe communities matters. And then we talked about the water treatment, and there's an update here. And again, as the director has noted, there's over $2 million here that we have an application sent in to see if we can get the money back, which we will be able to reprofile. So hopeful that works out. And that is funding that's associated with the work that we do with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. So another great reason for the town of Torbay to be connected there. There's information about the land acquisition, the Great Pond Water Study, wastewater testing, and traffic calming in particular, which is always an important and hot topic at our committee meetings. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to entertain them, Mayor, but look for the highlights.
Okay, thank you. Any
One
questions? Councillor Pollard?
Can we have staff do a review on the new timelines for the water treatment for North Pond? This has been on the books now for a period of time. I don't even know what we've done on the best technology side of things yet for that $950,000. Not alone say construction of the building, because we focused on the purchase of the land. Just wondering what those revised timeframes might look like.
Okay. We make note of that, Kim, please. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Recreation, Community Services, Councillor Manning.
Thank you, Mayor. Myself and Councillor Goss met with our Director Jen on Wednesday evening, actually, November 20th. So, as you see before you, there's our agendas there, and one of the first part was programming events. They discussed Christmas events, and registration opened on the 18th for that, and it was very successful. They're dealing with the Santa Claus Parade now, which is on December the 8th at 6 p.m. Deadline to register a float is November 29th, this Friday. So hopefully we'll have some more people reach out. Winter registration for those programs will open December the 11th for residents and December the 18th for non-residents. Decorating indoor and outdoor Christmas decorations will be done by December the 1st, so everyone at the Commons are working hard at that. The schedule is there for the holiday closures for the Torbay Common. And mentioned the town hall here, the roof here needs to be looked at. Having a few little leaks there. And under other proposed event that's been discussed at committee and is still ongoing. We got to see what the next steps are going to be. And I could highlight the funding. We got approved for $10,000 from the Active Newfoundland Provincial Funding. So thanks to Director Martin, now Jen, for getting that, being on top of that and getting it going. Other than that, that's it. If there are any questions, please ask. Well, actually, before all of that, I'd just like to a huge shout out to the staff. They continue to, especially this time of year, there's a lot of things on the go, and they're being on top of it all. So thanks to each and every one of them over there, actually. Other than that, any questions, please feel free to ask.
I just got one question, and I just wondering if the snowflakes are going to be up for the tree lighting on Thursday night.
The snowflakes on the poles. I don't think this is working, but, oh, it's working now. Yeah, the snowflakes should be installed this week at some point.
Okay.
We don't have ones at the Common, but we have ones coming down through town.
Yes, there are
But,
ones that are.
Yeah, the buildings and the trees at the Common will be done for Thursday night.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, the ones I'm talking about are the snowflakes coming down through the town?
Yeah, they'll be done this week,
Okay.
hopefully.
They're the ones, all right, thank you.
I just marked it off on my questions.
Is that
I was gonna
right?
ask about Christmas bingo card
Oh,
this year. All right, any other questions?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
if I could thank Councillor Goss for stepping in for me. I had a work conflict, so I really want to thank him for participating so we could get the meeting agenda off the ground.
Yeah.
And also wanted to follow Councillor Manning's gratitude to the staff. This is a really busy time of year for this department, and there's a lot of people looking to access all the great programs and the work that's happening. And just want to remind people to have patience and be kind as the town staff are following the policies and doing all the work that they're doing to put off these events. We're here to help and support in any way we can, but the staff are really the front burners of helping people, supporting what we're doing, and they're following the direction of council. So just want to put that out there and make sure that that gratitude is felt from all of us there at the committee. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Moving on. Liaison committees. Atlantic Mayor's Congress, no update. Intergovernmental Affairs. I guess I'll update here. I just want to advise people that on Wednesday, I only just found out this evening, so bear with me, that there will be residents from our community and other communities in the district being recognized as part of the 75th anniversary of Confederation. And I bet you Jody Wall will be in attendance to do that. And I think the Deputy Mayor is going to attend on my behalf. Thank you.
Welcome.
And I heard that one of our councillors is going to be getting recognized. Ralph, congratulations.
Thank you.
It had to be born when the Confederation was.
Move along.
Okay. Because I was going to say my father would be. All right. Where else am I? Jack Byrne Arena.
Doesn't update your worship.
Okay. Thank you. Northeast Avalon Joint Council. Deputy Mayor.
We had our AGM Wednesday night, and congratulations to our new executive, Isabel Fry is president. Vice president is Kimberly Street, and treasurer Andrea Goss. I'd like to congratulate them all, and I'd like to say a special thanks to Isabel, who was the vice president, and Andrea, who's been there as the treasurer, and Holly Power, who supported me over the last 5 years while I was the president of the Northeast Avalon Joint Council. And I'd really hope that we will continue to support the council as well as the other towns and take every opportunity to attend the meetings. It's a great way to network and know what's happening. As well, it's really good to know that we have both the RNC and the RCMP attend those on a monthly basis, and there's a lot of good things that evolve from those meetings. So thanks again and congratulations.
All right. Thank you. And thank you also for your work you've done as chair of Northeast Avalon Joint Councils for the last about 5 years.
Thank you.
Excellent. It's a lot of work, a lot of extra work. I don't know that people realize that with all these committees and stuff that we sit on, the amount of additional work that's involved, and it's nice to recognize that. All right, Royal Flank Assembly, no update. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, minutes are there. I'm not going to go down through them. Certainly, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. And as always, you can just see the fire department there are continuously on top of their most important thing, their training. But they're there for our safety and well-being. But also, too, they put a lot of time into the volunteer part. So Christmas is a busy time for them with different parties for kids, and certainly taking part in the Christmas parades, and along with everything else they do for us all. So big shout out to the fire department and each and every member. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Craig, could I touch on the RNC?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to add there when Mayor said about the RNC, that we had a meeting on Friday with Constable Julie Cunningham, Jen Martin, Carrie, and Cameron, our communications officer. And it was a really good, oh, and Brian Winters, Director of Public Works and Infrastructure. It was a really good meeting in that she's going to touch base with the Director of Community Services and see what can be done down there about some of the issues, as well as some of the training and what we've mentioned, that we would like to have a public meeting potentially, context for the school, and to work closely with us. So, and I think that it was evident there a couple of weeks ago when we saw a vehicle, well, not a vehicle, it was a quad that was comprehended there on Torbay Road. And even though that there was comments made that that didn't take place in Torbay, the initial chase, we were told, that did take place, it did take place in Torbay, and that's where it ended up to. And one of the regulars at the Northeast Avalon Joint Council is Constable Slaney, and Sergeant Slaney, I should say, and he was the one that was down here working. So we have to really emphasize the fact that it's no point of getting on the various groups and complaining about this. It's really important to call 709-729, I think it's 8,000, to call and report anything that you see that, of course, if it's an emergency, it's a different number, of course, but they emphasized this, to call that number, and said that basically all complaints and concerns that are put on that number, they have a certain turnaround time that they are required to answer those calls. And there have been a number of residents already whereby they have come, they've received a phone call, and they have gone visit the house or followed up with the person that's making the phone call, and that it can be done on an anonymous basis. So just like to really promote that and put that information out there. They are really looking forward to having a partnership with the town and working with the town. So like just to put that in there, because that came up rather quickly, so.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
Mayor, can I ask a question about that?
Go ahead.
I participated in the meeting that council had with the RNC, the chief and his senior staff. And I'd like to follow up with what the outcomes were that came out of that meeting, if I could get an update on that, please. The other thing is, as a member of the Recreation Committee, community safety is part of the agenda that we've had in public for quite some time. And as a committee member, I was not aware of this meeting, nor as the chair of the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee. So I'm just curious how that meeting came to be with the deputy mayor participating. But I know myself and Councillor Manning weren't aware, from my understanding in emails around this. Just curious to see how this meeting came to be and why we weren't consulted or invited to participate. Thank you.
I'd like to let you know that when we attended the meeting with the chief and the various superintendents, at that point in time, I was the contact person that they were given a number for, and when they contacted me last week, there was only going to be a meeting with myself to look at the big picture. And when I was advised or asked a question if I knew who Jen was, rather than having a separate meeting with the Director of Community Services, I suggested that we'd have the one meeting at that point in time. It was never intended to have it with the various committees of council. It was look at the big picture, and if need be, it will be further broken down into meetings with the various committees, I guess, if there's a need. But I'm sure that the Director of Community Services was able to present the needs and the whatever the concerns were. It went into an hour and a half as it was, so I thought it was a very productive meeting overall.
Okay. All right. thank you.
Mayor, if I could remind council, no one member of council has the ability to speak on behalf of the council unless it's you. And if there is committee work that's on the committee agenda, I would ask that council and CAO have a look at how business is being done, because committee members should be aware, at least, if not invited or involved in meetings with external partners. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, urban municipalities, no report. Notice of motion, none. New business has passed. Councillor Manning.
I just wanted to put out a huge thank you, as you do at every meeting, to all the town staff and employees, like each and every one from all different departments and divisions. Certainly a busy time. Christmas is always a busy time, and like summer or whatever, right? But they're all working very hard and doing the jobs that they're there to do and doing them quite well. So to each and every one, thank you. In case I forget to say it some other time.
All right, thank you very much. Councillor Appleby.
Thank you, Mayor. Well said, Councillor Manning, and I'll echo your sentiment of thank you to the staff. I also wanted to thank our MP, Joanne Thompson, who has made time available to meet with me in Ottawa next week. We're going to be meeting December 3rd that morning at 9:15. So I wanted to share with council that I will be meeting with her in person while I'm in Ottawa. I will be participating in the FCM meetings that are happening up there. We have our advocacy days where we're advocating for issues that impact the town of Torbay and communities all across the country. So I want to thank council for their support to be able to participate as a non-board committee member, and for the stipend that's available to me, and the rest of it I'll pay out of pocket to participate. If there are any other things that I've sent an email out and I've asked the question of, what would department heads like to see brought forward? What conversations would you like to see? If there's anything else that council members want to share with me, please do so by Friday so I can be organized for next week. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. To me. All right, and as Councillor Manning mentioned, yes, every week I do take an opportunity at this time to thank staff and council as well for the hard work they put in over the last couple of weeks in particular. And, it's this time of year is really busy. Staff are preparing for Christmas and, and our families. We got a lot of stuff on the go with Christmas coming up. Plus it's budget time. And we also always have to have our budget balanced and submitted to the government before the end of the year. So it's a whole lot of work, and I want to thank everybody for the long hours that you've put in. I know that I had to take off work early the last couple of Mondays and a few other days in order to be able to make it here to meet with y'all, and I really appreciate that. And and as I mentioned, I can't make everything. So thank God the deputy mayor is there to help me out whenever I needs it. That's why we're a good team, Mary.
Yep,
You
we are.
you handles that stuff for me that I can't always make. But I will also thank the school, because they contacted me, and I'm going to have the opportunity, I think, next week to go and read some stories to children to the whole school, and I'm going to be doing it at the library. Oh my God, I can't keep track of my calendar at this time of year. There's an awful lot of stuff going on, but I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do those things. It's a lot of fun, and it's great to be able to hang out with those young people. And with that, I will move on to Q&A. Is there anybody that has a question they would like to ask before we clue up? All right, thank you very much. Our next public council meeting is scheduled to take place Monday, December 9th at 6:30 here in the council chambers in the town of Torbay. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks, everybody. Oops. Thank you, folks, for coming.